Hello everyone, a very pleasant day to you. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu restores electricity to Bende after 23 years of darkness. MS Sanusi demands death sentence for Kanu murder suspect others. Police inspector kills colleague, injures another in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Abia government gives landlords 4 weeks deadline to renovate dirty buildings. And on business, CBN names Nigerian banks that have met the new capital requirements. On the foreign scene, Europe will need to adopt Trump's brass knuckle methods to save Greenland. A very good day to you and welcome to First Next News Port Harcourt. I am Becky Usoro. Now the news in details. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, on Monday commissioned the rehabilitated power line project that has finally reconnected Bende Federal Constituency to the national grid after more than 2 decades without reliable electricity. The project, which restores power to the towns of Uzuakoli and Ozuetem, among others, ends a 23-year period since 2002, during which residents relied exclusively on generators and solar systems for basic power needs. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony in Bende, Deputy Speaker Kalu expressed deep satisfaction with the achievement, describing it as the fulfillment of a long-standing promise to his constituents. He acknowledged previous unsuccessful efforts to restore electricity and credited the success of the initiative to persistent advocacy and significant investment. He called on presidents general of autonomous communities, traditional rulers, and youth groups to establish vigilant teams to monitor and safeguard the power lines and installation. Away from that story, the Emir of Kanu, Muhammadu Sanusi II, has urged the Kano state government to ensure that anyone found guilty in the recent massacre of a family of 7 should be sentenced to death. The Emir made the remark on Monday, January 19th, while speaking with journalists on the brutal killing of Fatima Abubakar and her 6 children in the Chiransi Dorayi area of Komboso local government area over the weekend. The monarch warned that sparing killers would only encourage more violence and suspects should not be spared. Sanusi also prayed for the souls of the victims and asked God to grant the family and the wider Muslim community the strength to bear the loss. Moving on to Rivers State, a police inspector has opened fire on his colleagues on duty in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, killing 1 officer and injuring another. The incident occurred at about 1:20 p.m. on Sunday at Nest Cash and Carry Supermart in the Transamadi area of Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The affected officers were on joint guard duty with military personnel at the time of the shooting. Grace Irenge Koko, spokesperson of the Rivers State Police Command, confirmed the incident on Monday, January 19th. Irenge Koko said preliminary investigations showed that Victor Okus, a police inspector, allegedly shot Ibrahim Sani and Daniel Dauda, both inspectors. She said the 2 officers were rushed to Nopsam Hospital, where Sani was confirmed dead, while Dauda survived and is receiving treatment. Irenge Koko said the remains of the deceased had been deposited at the military hospital mortuary in Port Harcourt for autopsy. She said Olagbenga Adeboju, Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, has ordered a thorough and transparent investigation into the incident. Irenge Koko said the police chief directed that the suspect undergo an orderly room trial before being charged to court. She said Adeboju also reminded officers of the serious responsibility involved in handling firearms while on duty. The Commissioner of Police advised officers that the handling of firearms while on duty is a serious responsibility and not a routine task, she said. The Rivers State Police Command extends its heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family, colleagues, and friends of Inspector Sani and reaffirms its commitment to professionalism, accountability, and justice, Irenge Koko added. Moving on to Abia State government has given landlords in Umuahia 4 weeks to renovate their buildings or face the consequences of government actions. It said the buildings were dirty and defacing the beauty of the city. The state government also announced that shanties and other illegal projections in Umuahia are to be pulled down in the next few days by Umuahia Capital Development Authority, UCDA. The Commissioner for Information, Kalu, announced this on Monday while briefing journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Alex Suti. He lamented that many buildings in Umuahia have not been maintained or given facelift for many years by their owners, thereby defacing the beauty of the Abia's capital and sabotaging the efforts of the state government in urban beautification. The state government has observed with dismay that many landlords have not carried out routine maintenance or facelifts on their buildings for years. These buildings currently deface the city, thereby setting back the efforts of the state government to beautify Umuahia. Landlords that disregard this directive will face the consequences, the Abia state government warned. We now move on to business. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says 20 deposit money banks, DMBs, have already met the new capital requirements under its ongoing recapitalization program as the March 21, 2026 deadline draws closer. The update was delivered in Lagos during the presentation of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group's NESG 2026 Macroeconomic Outlook, which the Apex Bank also signaled a shift in attention. It wants stronger bank balance sheets to result in real lending to the productive economy, not just bigger figures on paper, based on reporting from the recapitalization update, covering banks meeting thresholds for international, national, or regional licenses. The 20 banks listed as complaints are Access Bank PLC, Zenith Bank PLC, United Bank for Africa UBA PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC, Guarantee Trust Bank through GTCO, First Hold CO PLC through First Bank of Nigeria, EcoBank Nigeria, Citibank Nigeria Limited, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Wema Bank PLC, Premium Trust Bank, Globus Bank, Providus Bank, Lotus Bank, Jais Bank, Unity Bank via merger structure referred in the report, Polaris Bank, the Alternative Bank, Sterling Bank, Sterling Financial Holdings, Nova Bank. With a deadline fixed on March 31, 2026, banks that are not yet fully compliant have limited options, raise fresh equity, attract strategic investors, pursue mergers, or adjust license scope where applicable. We now move on to the foreign scene. Donald Trump fights as brutally as the UFC cage fighters is invited to slogging out the south lawn of the White House to mark America's 250th birthday. America's NATO allies, experts in gentle, if often flinty diplomacy, therefore face a huge challenge in denying the president's demand for Greenland. Beating Trump is hard. His test failed by the two Democratic presidential candidates. More than a dozen GOP presidential hopefuls, various prosecutors, countless business foes, and almost every lawmaker who's ever tried to stand up to him. Adversaries may cite rules, laws, the Constitution, or common decency to try to tame him. But Trump just battles systematically, ignoring the way normal people behave. It may be time for Europe to adopt some of his tactics to find ways outside normal diplomatic protocols to halt the rampant U.S. president. We now bring you highlights of the stories in the bulletin so far. Brought to you, the Deputy Speaker, Kalu, restores electricity to Bende after 23 years of darkness. And also brought to you that MS Sanusi demands death sentence for Kalu murder suspect others. And also from River State, brought to you that police inspector kills colleague, injures another in Port Harcourt. And also from Abia State, to the Abia government gives landlords 4 weeks deadline to renovate dirty buildings. On business, brought to you that CBN names Nigerian banks that have met the new capital requirement. On the foreign scene, brought to you that Europe may need to adopt Trump's brass knuckle methods to save Greenland. That's all on the news. I am Becky Usoro from I and the entire team in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.